The little bonus credit at the end.
Yeah.
I really enjoy them. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Half the time I don't even remember saying half the thing.
Yeah, and it's always you. You're always the one saying it.
What? You mean I just say random things that come out of my mouth? What are you talking about?
Oh, goodness.
Like for good podcasts, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. If you're tuning in to every week to listen to a bunch of us weirdos ramble on about random gaming stuff, must be doing something.
Yeah. I mean, the only person that I'm aware of that's actually listening every week is our continuing commenting friend,
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes,
So,
we appreciate you, brother.
So, I don't know. I've been kind of thinking about maybe trying to open up the Discord to people if they wanted to
post stuff.
partake.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So if you're interested, just shoot us an email at catholicgamerspod@gmail.com. Email's in the description of the podcast there. So
some people would pay. Yeah, some people pay good money on Patreon to do that. We're gonna give it out for free.
Yeah, because we have like 20 listeners.
Hey, that's more than I was expecting. I was expecting this whole podcast thing, and I've talked about this in previous podcasts. I wasn't expecting more than like maybe 5 people listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's quite interesting. What was it? We've had some people from Florida lately listening in. I got one listening from Utah. Virginia. There always seems to be somebody out in Virginia that's always wanting to listen in. So
Nice.
Yeah. So hello to all of you out there.
Yeah, welcome. We appreciate every single listener because we just appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But so Connor, how have you been? It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute. We've been we got a pope now, and that's super exciting.
Yeah. Good strong name.
Great name. And it's kind of funny because Abby texted me, she goes, Leo's not a bad name, and I was like, yeah, we'll put it on the list.
You guys having a boy?
Oh, we don't know.
Oh, are you gonna find out?
No, Abby doesn't want to find out. So I'm just like, okay, I want to find out, but Abby doesn't seem to want to find out.
Okay.
So I'm just like, all right, if that's what you is, because I was like trying to talk with the OB, and she's all like, no, I can't tell you. And I was like, dang it, or the ultrasound tech. She's like, I can't tell you. Dang it. So, yeah. So we'll find out when they're born, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's life's been good. Just kind of taking life one day at a time. We went to Disney. I don't know if I've talked about that on the podcast. Went to Disney, had a good time there. My son swam every single day. Like every day he swam, and then there was this go-kart, like not even a go-kart, there's this Grand Prix like track thing where it's got like a thing in the middle that guides the cars along. And he went on that ride like 7 times. He was like addicted to it. That's all he wanted to do. And then he got home, he's like, race car ride. So my son's addicted to race cars, like little Matchbox cars. So yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. We had a good time down at Disney. Get to hang out with my in-laws and stuff, and it was fun. We had a good time. It was hot. We sweat the whole time. And whose ever idea was to paint all of the sidewalks black at Disney was an idiot, because it was hot. Like you could just feel the heat coming off the ground, and I was like, why would you do this? But I digress. How are you doing, James? How's the job search going?
Search continues. Yeah. What was it? I keep on putting out stuff, and I keep on getting emails saying thanks but no thanks. And I mean, you've stated this before, and other people have stated it as well, as they're kind of floored how hard it is for me to find a good job.
You have the absolute worst luck when it comes to applying for jobs. I think here's my diagnosis, James. you're too honest about yourself. And I think that kinda leads people away, and like, people don't want people who are super honest. They want people who meet the criteria for the job. So sometimes you just gotta fit whatever you're trying to do to get to the job interview and then go from there. That's kinda how I've ever done a job. And then if they seem to like you, then they'll keep asking you to come back.
Yeah, I mean, my resume is actually pretty good now, so
Mhm.
I'm actually kind of focusing on that and cover letter.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just kind of like pulling out different events or skills that I've learned in jobs because I do learn a lot in every job and I do retain a lot of that stuff and I can see like how things correlate.
Yep.
And then so I've been trying to utilize the cover letter for as a ability to kind of explain. The problem is almost no one actually reads the cover letter.
Yeah. What
So
you wanna do is you wanna put all the impactful stuff within the first couple sentences, and then you go from there,
yeah,
right?
yeah, there's an
I don't know.
explanation after that. So,
Yeah. But also, maybe you might be applying for jobs that are you're just overqualified for.
it's possible. I mean, I'm beginning to kind of broaden
Or
my
excuse
horizon.
me, underqualified. I meant to say underqualified.
Underqualified? I actually the issue that I've been seeing is it's either the position that I'm looking for is just not available. So
Yeah.
I'm always applying for things that I'm underqualified or overqualified for. I did recently see a job. It's an operations manager position with a propane company, and
Ah.
it's basically what they're looking for. The only problem is I don't have like manufacturing experience, right? But I do
Eh,
have logistics experience. I do have like managerial experience, and then I do have the financial um, management experience as well, and then of course my education. So I think it would actually be a really good fit. And I was trying to
yeah.
tie that all together in with my cover letter, and so I sent that out yesterday. That would pay 81. So
Nice.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then there's like bonus available with that too. But um, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, but no, usually whenever somebody actually calls me, they're like, um, you're overqualified. Sorry.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So I've actually had, what was it? One of our assistant managers at a store who looked at me and said, it's like, James, you do realize you could basically probably run this store. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but they won't talk to me. They won't touch me because I haven't held the next step up, which is
Yeah.
hit that position, or the assistant
Yeah.
manager or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no, I'm just in a hard place. I'm between a rock and a hard place, really. It's
Mhm.
because people want to hire from within, and I'm an unknown. So
Yeah. Yeah. Just takes time.
it does. I mean, like I said, like, the bills are being paid. We have health insurance, so everything's covered right now. But,
Just not thriving kinda thing.
yeah. And I have the map layout to thrive very, very quickly if the position opens up. So,
Yeah. There you go.
yeah.
That's exciting.
But yeah, no, a lot of the positions I'm looking for, I'm trying to be a little more direct and more or kind of like an executive presence when I talk to people about like my experiences and what I'm looking for and how much you're going to pay me.
Mhm.
Instead of like, well, it'd be really nice to just get the foot in the door. It's like, no, like you're like, I have, almost 5 years of managerial experience. I have an MBA. Uh, I've,
Yeah.
I've managed a $7 million budget. You need to pay me 85. This is
Yeah. Yeah.
so
But I mean, it can also be tough if you're coming in and making those stipulations because that kinda can lead people off a little bit too.
yeah,
There's
yeah. And I
there's
mean,
there's being too direct, right? Like, you
yeah,
almost wanna talk about money at the very last thing that you talk about.
yeah. Oh, no, and I never get to that point in the conversations.
Yeah.
Um, So I usually get to a point where, um, I think we're just dealing with a market, a hiring market that's oversaturated with
Yeah,
people.
and there's a lot of ghost jobs that are out there now too. Have you heard about
Hmm.
these?
Yep,
So
yep,
like they'll put like jobs out there that actually they have no intent of hiring.
yep.
They just have them
They
out there
just
so
want
that
they're literally just testing the waters,
yeah,
which is
so
kind of
that like
gross.
it's for investors. So that way like it creates investor confidence, which is so stupid.
Hmm.
But
It's
yeah.
another scheme. So.
And it's also true too, right? So like with the advent of AI generating like content, people are able to apply for more jobs than they were ever like supposed to. And so like they're using AI to throw out as many job applications as they can. But also all of these companies are using AI to review all these job applications because they're getting more job applications than they've ever gotten before. So, like, it's just like it's a never ending like, it's almost like a death cycle for applying where you just, like, you don't know who's real and who isn't. And,
Hmm.
like, they're just automatically just reviewing them based off of whatever ChatGPT tells tells them about it or whatever AI they have for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's actually I've been kind of utilizing ChatGPT as kind of like a measuring point of I was like, here's my resume. What positions should I be looking for? And
Mhm.
then if this is my resume, what are certain things that I need to be like looking at to develop to get up to the next position? Or it's been very interesting. Or just utilizing it to like, how does this cover letter sound or things like that. So
Oh, man, you're doing the ChatGPTs?
just a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I used Grammarly
Grammarly's awesome.
in
I don't
graduate
consider
school.
they're not Grammarly is never really an like, they only put the AI on there after AI become a buzzword, like, it's never really ever been an AI service.
I mean, isn't it? It basically runs off of AI, though, right?
But it doesn't so there's a difference between generative AI and, like, reviewing AI, though. Like,
Oh,
chat
okay, yeah.
like, the way that, it doesn't generate anything for you. It doesn't, like you don't type a prompt into Grammarly and it pops out something for you. It just takes what you have and corrects it. So, like, that's the biggest difference with what ChatGPT is versus Grammarly. Like, Grammarly is just like a machine that pumps out like you type grammar to it and it corrects it for you, and it's very mathematical.
Hmm.
Whereas ChatGPT is a predictive service that predicts like what it's supposed to say next based off the prompt.
Sure,
So yeah,
sure. So, all right. Well, welcome everyone to Those Catholic Gamers, a podcast where Catholic guys come together to talk about video games and their Catholic faith and whatever the heck else is going on. Connor and I haven't been able to catch up here in a while because literally last time I was going to jump on a chat session with him, I lost power because we had a storm blow through and we were out of power for 12 hours.
yeah, fun
And
times.
there were some people who were out of power for like a week in Pittsburgh. So it was a whole
Yikes!
thing.
You guys should get
S
a generator now.
My parents are, I believe, definitely looking at something like that. So,
Nice.
but yeah, So first off, thank you for all coming in, listening to us every week or whatever you do. Or if you just found us, welcome. Like I said, this is just a podcast where Connor and I sit down, discuss our mutual love of video games, and try to drag on some of our other friends to participate in our conversations as well.
Yeah,
Um,
we do.
if you like what we are saying, if you would like to talk to us, you can always leave a comment, follow the podcast, share with others that this podcast exists because we are trying to grow it, even though we're a small audience right now. And of course, if you'd like to reach out to us, you can always email us at catholicgamerspod@gmail.com. Connor streams on Tuesday evenings from about 7:30 p.m. Central Time till about 9 p.m. Central Time. And then, of course, he also has all
All
of
of
the
the previous videos.
videos and stuff on his YouTube channel, Fatal Condor. So you can find him there. And of course, I have just been stupid busy. My wife actually had it out with me yesterday because of I've just been so busy, and then I keep on forgetting things that I need to do for like the family. Just like, just
Classic.
basic, like you need to do some chores that I've asked you to do, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like I just got like 10 different things going on at once, and it's just
It's hard, yeah. Life happens,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So, but I am still trying to write. So when I eventually do write and post, it'll be on my Substack, amailmillennial.substack.com. And of course, we also do have this Discord channel, and be more than happy to open it up to you guys if you are interested. You can always email us once again at catholicgamerspod@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to send you that link. But anyway, Connor,
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little old school, you know,
Ah, yes. What kind of old? How when you say old school, what do you mean by that?
like RuneScape old school, old school.
Oh, RuneScape. We talking RuneScape?
And we're just talking about like
Classic.
the online games that we grew up
Flash games.
playing. We're like, yeah, different Flash games and things like that. I'm looking at RuneScape old school right now.
Old school
It's just got
RuneScape?
a.
Are you gonna get
I've
an
got
old school RuneScape? You wanna do old school RuneScape Iron Man? Group Iron Man
a
with
group
me and
Ironman.
I was talking with Cody Smith about it. He wants to start a old school RuneScape group Iron Man.
All right, I'll have to edit this out. Remind me of who Cody Smith is again.
You don't remember Cody Smith? He is a Jessica Apple's cousin. He was in seminary for a minute. Very goofy. Me and him are very similar.
No, I don't. I don't
You don't
remember
remember
this.
Cody Smith? He's from Castleton, Watertown
Is
area.
is he on LinkedIn?
No, he might be. I don't know. I don't doubt he's on LinkedIn. I'd say he's on. You can look him up on Facebook if you don't have.
The name
But
sounds
Cody,
familiar.
Cody Smith, yeah. Well, I mean, you don't really have to blur out his name. Cody Smith is probably the most generic name ever made.
It's very generic.
But yeah,
Scottsdale, Pennsylvania. No.
so
Um.
he wants that. I'm like, I've been taking a break from old school RuneScape because I got burnt out hard. I trying to think what my level is right now. I am maxed out combat. I have got what is it? Out of the I forget how many skills there are. Is there 11 skills? How many out of the 23 skills, I have 2099 on my main.
Cool.
I freaking grinded that crap and I am burnt out. So I'm like, I told myself I'm gonna give myself a year break. I get too into it, but old school RuneScape growing up, that was my jam. I remember we were at the library one time, and it was it was RuneScape Classic. If anyone remembers that, I was watching a guy play that, and I was just ingrained with him, watching him play it. I was like, coolest thing ever. I want to play this, and eventually I got onto it. I think can't remember. I think it was like 2001 when I started playing RuneScape. No, it wasn't that. I forget when I started playing RuneScape. Was it 2006? 2005 or 2006 when I started playing it. It was before they even had like uh it was RuneScape 2, but it was before they had rune crafting or Slayer. And then they added those and then farming and then all those other ones. But I always remember just messing around on it, and all my friends had it, and we just messed around, and we never took anything serious. I would just sit there and mine stuff, and that was like what I like doing is I like mining. And eventually, it just kind of all left to favor, and all of my friends quit playing it. And then all of a sudden, one day, I was like, "Oh, let's play RuneScape again." And then RuneScape Mobile came out, and I was like, "Oh, I can play RuneScape on my phone." And then, oh, that was bad. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. But it is definitely the most hours I have in any game ever. I guarantee you, I have probably over 2,000 hours. Game. Let's go RuneScape. Not even exaggerating.
Yeah. So I distinctly remember, what was it? I was 12 when I had discovered, well, what was it? I went to public school, or middle school, and everyone was like playing RuneScape. And I was like, RuneScape, what is this? And like, you've got to play it. And I
Mhm.
was 12 at the time, and it distinctly says so you have to be 13 to sign up, right?
Yeah.
And so what I did is I elected to wait. I elected to wait till I
Oh,
was
man.
13. So, and I started it. My dad was like, "Hey, I'll create an account too, and I'll play with you."
Oh,
Which
interesting.
that did not happen.
Ah, fair enough.
And so I started off like in the I played through the tutorial, got to like the main hub, and then I don't know, killed some skeletons, and then kind of
Mm.
just did
And
not
then you
get into
died,
it.
and then you
No, I
died,
just
and
I
then
I
never
just
played ever again.
I just never got into it. So,
Oh.
but I do know of, what was it, you and a mutual friend Austin, who very much into RuneScape and enjoy that. So I do like the old little, just the
It's
design of it,
yeah, it's got an old well, based
the
on the
old
name,
school
it's
version.
got
Yeah.
an old school style to it, which is cool. And it's kind of a turn off for some people, but I like it. I like it
Hmm.
too. It's got a simplicity that's like when you get into like World of Warcraft or anything like that, um, it just gets World of Warcraft. It's just got so much stuff right now. But I mean, there's also you could play it on a potato of a computer and it would run just fine.
Oh
That
yeah.
was the nice thing about it. Like before I had a fancy crazy computer and all this other stuff. I had my mom's old Windows 98 Dell whatever. That was her old work computer and had to play everything on that. I couldn't upgrade it, couldn't do anything. I just had an old potato of a computer and that's what I was given. So that was the nice thing about it, and that was why I kinda got into a lot of flash games as well, just because, like, before it was, like, as early advent of, broadband internet where I didn't have to wait for dial-up, because I'm that old, I remember dial-up.
I remember dial up.
I couldn't do anything on the internet until we had gotten faster internet at our new place, and finally I could be like, "Oh, I can use the internet now and play random games online." And so that was my thing. It's like flash games were free. You could go. I remember the websites I would use. It was Armor Games, Miniclip. Miniclip was the OG goat. I loved Miniclip. Addicting Games, and what was the other one that I used to play it on? Uh, Armor Games. Uh, then yeah, sorry, 16 games, mini clip, and some people play on cool math games, but I never played cool math games. I wasn't up to tea.
Fair enough. So
I remember, especially on mini clip, there was an old it's called Bush Shootout. And it was you played as George Bush as a bunch of terrorists were invading the White House, and you were like entrusted to defend the White House. So basically, like, George Bush had like an AR-15. It was just like shooting people up as they were coming into the White House. That was one of the first like mini clip games I would play a ton of.
that sounds like this. What was it? I don't know what it was on, but it was like a almost like a demo disc of a Pearl Harbor game where you were
Oh,
the gunner on one of the battleships, and you had to take out the Japanese Zeros that were coming in and trying to bomb the
yeah,
different, yeah. And we used to play that all the time, but that was like on an old CD, and that was a lot of fun. Um,
interesting.
but yeah, no, I distinctly remember, what was it? I mean, these were always the games that you would go to when you got into the computer lab, right?
Yeah.
Like this was like, either you finished up or you were goofing around and you just wanted to kind of pass the time. And so and then what was it, the people who really knew what they're doing, we always, alt tab.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alt tab in and out.
So the teacher would walk in, you'd be like, "Oh, done."
Yeah. So what was it? I played a lot of Last Stand or The Last Stand, which is such a classic now that actually has been kind of redone and is available on Steam as a pack of the three original games.
I already beat the first two. I remembered the glitch. I remembered in the first game where you could, if you had an automatic weapon
Hmm.
and were holding down, and you hit the space bar to switch to a shotgun, it would unload all 8 shots at the same speed as an automatic weapon from the shotgun. It was a glitch. And I was like, I remember playing, I was like, oh man, there's a glitch that I remember. And then I just like my muscle memory came back and just like freaking unloaded 8 shots into a bunch of zombies that were running towards us. I was like, yep, that's what it was.
But it's
So
it's nice to know that the glitch still works.
oh yeah, they didn't change any of the game. It's like they basically took the original game and just were like, here, yep, throw it into the second one. Or
Yep,
throw it into the trilogy or whatever.
yep, absolutely. I was really a big fan of the Warfare series as well on Armor Games. So
Okay.
this was like World War One.
Oh yep.
You would like recruit a team of guys, and they would go into the first trench, and then you would try to like build up your group, and you can either do like a frontal assault and you hit everybody out, or you could just choose different squads to move forward and try to take out
It was
the next
morale based.
trench.
So
Yeah,
like
it was also based on Moralia.
so you gotta keep morale going and keep everything in order. I do remember that. It was really like a 2D style. And that's what a lot of Flash games were. They were always 2D because you couldn't like get in like Flash couldn't handle 3D that well. So a lot of them you'll see is a lot of platform 2D stuff. But um yeah, Warfare was a great one. I do remember that a lot. I think one of my most played games on Armory Games was either Last Stand, or I played a lot of the Thing games, which were very graphic. I'll let you know. So if you want to look into those, they're very very graphic, and basically you're like given these characters that have endless hordes of like people, and you're just shooting them, and you have different guns that you can use and unlock and stuff.
Wait,
I
what?
remember
What are we talking about again?
Thing.
I
That's
don't
the
remember playing this. No,
Thing.
no.
Those were great games. Um, Thing Arena, Thing 3. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I like to play a lot of. I remember because there was a whole different like you can go to Newgrounds and stuff and play they have like videos and stuff that you can watch of like the backstory of it and all of that made up stuff like Stick Fighter. It's like kind of like a Stick Fighter type game where the sticks just have like unlimited power and you just go. I also played a lot of Boxhead. Did you ever play Boxhead?
No.
Boxhead was a great little series where you're basically a character that you're getting surrounded by like different zombies that are becoming increasingly stronger and stronger. Um, Very like survival esque type game. I mean, that's what a lot of the Flash games were kind of built around is like replayability. Like, how can you keep playing it? Kind of just keep going, keep going, keep going. Boxhead.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're a co-op. They're sometimes co-op. They're not like a zombie type game.
Okay. So
And all the games had one thing in common. They used the WASD keys.
fair enough. No, what was it? I'm trying to remember a couple of other games that I used to play. There were this is the time where I actually kind of enjoyed tower defense
Mhm.
genre.
Mhm.
I definitely don't anymore. I don't like AFK games or where you just kind of sit back and try to wait for things to happen.
Yeah. I remember balloon uh tower defense. You ever play balloon tower defense?
Uh, I've seen you play it, but no, I have not
Okay.
played it.
Yeah. And basically you just have balloons in your it's based off of a 2D game where you have to pop all the balloons. It's like pop balloons or just balloons.
Hmm.
Where you play as a monkey that's just shooting darts into balloons to try to get as pop as many as possibly can, and they turned into a tower defense. And basically, stronger and stronger balloons kind of go along. You just got to pop them with your darts.
Yep.
Pretty much all it was. This is
Yep.
your stereotypical tower defense game. Uh, so did those? I'm just trying to think of the world's hardest game. Have you ever played that one? The world's
Uh,
hardest game.
no, no.
Oh,
I'm getting the feeling that you definitely played this more, or you remember these more than I do.
yeah, probably. Well, I'll just talk. The world's hardest game was like you played as a red box, and they were all puzzle. It was like one of the only puzzle games I played a lot of, and they keep track of your deaths. And every time you touched a blue dot, you would die. It's kind of simplistic, but like some of the missions got to be super wild, and it's like considered. They say it's the world's hardest game, and that's pretty accurate. It's pretty difficult.
Fair enough.
But I do remember, and like we were talking about this the other day. So like I just feel like I have a huge, massive like nostalgia rush of all these different games I used to play, and I'm sure I played even more, but I just don't remember them because I'd have to
Hmm.
see like they have to be put right in front of me to be like, oh yeah, I played that game. Oh yeah, I beat that game. Oh yeah, I beat that game. Just because I just had way too much time. I had way too much time where I would just get home from school and just like throw on these games and just be like, all right, this is what I'm gonna play before
Yep.
my parents got home. So yeah, good time. We were talking before the stream or before the podcast. We talked about Adventure Quest.
Yes. So I distinctly remember Adventure Quest being very popular in middle school.
Yeah,
Like
it was like kind of the
probably.
it was the kind of the answer to RuneScape, where if you didn't have money for Runes or for a membership with RuneScape, you could play Adventure Quest because it was free, and you
Hmm.
got actually most of the content for free.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Definitely got most of that for free. Um. Yeah. I distinctly remember watching it and just I don't know, something turned me off from the game. I've never been a fan of anime, and I think it just kind of has a bit of an anime look. So that probably was kind of one of the determinants of why I never really got into it or never really gave it a shot. Um,
You're not
I-
wrong. It definitely like looking at pictures of it, it does have kind of that anime vibe to it.
yeah. Did you ever get into it?
Oh yeah, I had a X, what do you call it? X X player? No, oh, what is it called? There was like a like I paid they're like a one time purchase for membership, and it was called not Z token guardianship. It was an X guardianship, X guardian. I was an X guardian, which basically gave you faster HP, XP, and more gold. It allowed you to give you more levels, and you could find more, give you more locations and stuff. But it was nice because it was just a one time purchase.
Fair enough.
And so I got into that. So I mean, I played quite a bit, but I mean, once you've played through some of the quests, it just gets to be kind of boring. There's everything is scripted. Like you just kind of just level up your character as you grind and do battles over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's about it. It was very combat based type game where everything was based on what armor you had and what weapons you could get and like your pets and then random other stuff. That's what I do remember about that game. And
Fair
he's
enough.
still releasing content for the game, which is
Yes.
boggles my
Yeah.
brain
Yeah. He's
because the
still.
game
Yeah.
is came out in 2004, so it's 20 years old now.
Yep.
So still boggles
So
my brain. You can still play the
So, one game that I was introduced to in middle school as well was the Kingdom of Loathing, which Connor, I've talked to you a little bit about outside of uh, outside of the podcast. Right
Uh-huh.
now, the maker of it has now created two other games. One is the West of Loathing, and then the Horrors of Loathing. And it's a very tongue-in-cheek kind of humor, um, and it's a goofy game where it's
stick figure game.
it's a stick figure. Well, the art is stick figure, but yeah, no, it's that was introduced to me by a gentleman who is a very intelligent person who him and I kind of shared the same kind of humor, but we never really hung out. It was kind of odd, but yeah, no. So he kind of told me about it, and it's always kind of been on my radar ever since. And every now and then I'll get an inkling to try to jump back into the Kingdom of Loathing, or I've recently been playing through the West of Loathing, and it's just the writing is just so good. So
Lots of loathing.
yeah. Well, what's interesting though is kind of like just taking a step back from here, right? Is the games that we were playing in middle school, right? Like you're definitely more on the action-based kind of side, and I'm definitely more on the meta joke uh kind of or strategy
Humor.
kind of games.
Yeah.
And how even now those are still kind of playing into things, right?
Oh yeah, still will be played to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not wrong.
So I'm trying to like derive something deeper out of this.
It's almost like our personalities developed
Well, yeah, so our
uh,
personalities
when we were
develop.
young.
Well, yeah, and it's so something that I've always kind of said, especially to some of my employees in healthcare and stuff, is um, what I've always noticed is you don't change as you get older. You just become more of who you are right now. And if you want to change who you are, you need to start now, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You just, yeah, because you do kind of become more fortified in the things that you do or the things that you like as you get older. And I'm just
Mm.
kind of wondering, like, what was it? Especially when it comes to like prayer habits and things like that. I wonder if that's kind of uh, the same reality.
I mean, I mean, I equivalent it to. So there's a difference between habits and like exercises, right? So like habits are something that you have developed over time that you're more inclined towards. Whereas exercises, I feel like prayer is more of an exercise that the more you do it, the better you get at it. But if the less you do it, the less you become adept to it. So like yes, you could say prayer you could start a prayer habit. Like I had a friend who was really into novenas, and she's always praying a novena, starting one, ending or like finishing on one up, and like just going into one to another. But like, is she still doing that novena to this day, or those she's still into that to this day? I have no idea. But like, and it's like working out, right? If you're running all the time, you could take a break from it, and you could try to run the same amount, but you wouldn't be able to be as good at it. So like, whereas a habit of mine, so if I'm playing the same type of game, I could take a break from it and come back into it, probably not be as good at it, but it's a more y it's kinda like a riding a bike type situation. Does that make sense?
Riding a bike situation.
Right? So
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah,
never,
yeah,
like, forget how to ride a bike.
yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of true, but what I'm trying to point at, right, is like our tendencies towards different things, right?
Mhm,
So, yeah, we've stated this on the podcast before. You and I are relatively traditional
mhm,
sided Catholics. And at least for me, that kind of stems from growing up in a fairly traditional family, right? To a
yeah,
point where you might, I don't think you would fully call us rad trads, but my parents were very much into Medjugorje and are still very much into Marian apparitions and things like that. Um,
mhm,
where like we do things like the purple scapular for the house and uh, all that good stuff. And if there's a Latin mass available for us to go to, I'm definitely kind of like, it'd be nice to go there like once a month or something like that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
still have
100%.
I still have a responsibility to my parish that God has called me to be a part of. But every now and then it would be nice to drop in,
Right.
go
It would be
to a
nice. It'd
Latin.
be nice. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and there's just I was kind of thinking about how does this kind of correlate in that sense? Do you are you kind of picking up what I'm putting down?
Kind of, I mean, yeah, I do kinda see, like, for me, a lot of my faith wasn't because of my parents, right? My parents were kind of very lukewarm in their faith. I mean, we'd go to mass every Sunday, but that was about it. And I shouldn't my mom was very active at, like, the parish level where if someone needed some help or something needed to happen, she'd step right up and she'd be Johnny on the spot, and she got she was everywhere. She was a parish finance council. She was very active at the parish.
Hmm.
And not to say my dad wasn't either, but, like, that didn't translate over into, like, prayer life or into our particular charisms. It was just like, okay, well, we participated at church or we participated at the parish and did random things. Um, but it didn't really influence a lot of my prayer life. A lot of my prayer life was influenced because of, like, my time in youth group where we actually got introduced to, like, what adoration was, and I fell in love with adoration.
Hmm.
And that's I mean, I feel like as a Catholic, it would be very beneficial for you to be into adoration. But, like, it's something that I do have a particular devotion toward. And then that kinda came into when I was a missionary and just, like, developing my prayer life through that. And, like, then after a missionary, I got very involved with, where I was working at, which was very rad trad, at the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Wisconsin. Um, and that got went off in the deep end of, like, Latin mass and, like, I shouldn't say deep end, is a good part of, uh, introducing me to a traditional way of, seeing the faith.
Sure.
So that was kinda where I got into that, and now that I'm not around it as much, it's like, okay, I would love to go to a Schola and be part of it and do that over again, but like you said, it's hard to do that as a being part of a family.
Yeah. Well, also, we always have to kind of discern where we are in our lives, and and be open and asking God, okay, where do you want us? Where guide me, make me the man you've made me to be, right? Saying that prayer and being open to being guided and molded. And sometimes that means that you just need to, uh, um, what was it for like us, right? Stay in the parish that's literally across the street, even though Sunday Mass is, um,
Difficult.
s-
Like, it's hard
it,
timing wise.
it's it's a point of suffering at points in time. Yeah, and sometimes, and so I pray, and I pray for the community, and I mean, there's nothing like uh heretical going on. It's just coming from the cathedral in
Yeah.
Sioux Falls and the cathedral in Bismarck to this little town of, you know, a dying community of Catholics it's very painful. So
Yeah. Yeah, but I think you're right. Like it is a point of where you're called to be where you're at. Like you
exactly.
there is the universal church that you're called to elevate. And sometimes the universal church is a tiny little parish in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very much
Or
so.
yeah, a parish on the plains where it's very, very active and like there's just a lot going on. So like yeah, I mean you're called to elevate the parish wherever you're supposed to be. And yeah, you're called to pray for growth and like you can be an influential part of the parish that allows people to come into it more, and to grow in their faith. Because it's one thing to evangelize, like, but it's another to build up the people who are already there, right? The one thing to be a prayerful Catholic and to be out joyful, and it's another to rely on Christ to allow you to grow.
Yeah.
So it should always be for Christ. It should always be allowing Him to guide us and to allow the Holy Spirit to move us. And knowing when the Holy Spirit is, that's big. That's the big $1 million.
That usually is the question that is always being asked. So
So, yeah,
cool.
great,
But yeah. I
great
don't know.
stuff.
I was just trying to tie that more into
But
Catholicism and things.
I think you're right. Like, I mean, I did play a lot of action games, and I'm more of an action individual, right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm more of a person that's just like gonna do what I want, or I'm gonna like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna put my whole heart into it. Whereas if you're more adventurer or more of a like you're more of a acquisitive kind of guy, right? Like you're more of a thinker and philosophize, do all that. So I make good combo, right?
Yeah, yeah,
we do
sure. We'll go with that and move on.
good combo.
So, but yeah, anything else you'd like to touch on, or
Uh,
well, no. So what was it? Yeah, what was it? I played those games. Crush the Castle was big.
mm,
I also enjoyed like those pool games,
yep, yep.
like where
I
you
got
played pool. Yeah,
8 ball game.
so those were fun, especially when you actually had like a second person to play with.
Oh, 100%. And a lot of times you can play those on mobile now too.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
No, it's not, but I mean, it gives you kind of that same feel to it. Um, yeah, but yeah, I played. I don't know. It's. I would say flash games were a big part of my gaming like backstory, right? Like, I had my Game Boy Advance, like, and I have, and through my life, I've had different phases of gaming, just like I've had different phases of faith, right? Where you start with humble beginnings of like, okay, I had my Game Boy Advance, doing like things
Hmm.
like that, and then I had computer games where I would play on the computer, and then it was flash games, and then I got my Xbox, and then it was just like all these different things I would go through, and whereas like, especially when it came to my faith, like I had to start somewhere. Whereas growing up, went to a Catholic school growing up, and then it was kind of getting into youth group when I was in junior high school, and then it became okay, getting into my faith in college, um, and then becoming a missionary, and then it's like, okay, after missionary life, and then getting into married life faith, and yeah, you just have different like, just as you have different phases of gaming, like, you have different phases of faith, and it's finding, like, what you really care about in one or the other, like, you should care more about your faith than you do your video games, um, but, like, it allows you to grow as an individual, and it allows you to become the person who you are now. And I think you had it right, and we do have to set good habits of where we want to be in our faith. We have to set good habits of what we want to do in gaming, right? To allow ourselves to grow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tie the two together, I guess. Probably doesn't make any sense, but
String that where you will. Holy Spirit,
string
take
away the wheel.
over and
Let the Holy Spirit buck.
let him stitch this together.
Yeah. And if you want to
Um,
play, if you want to get to eternity rank uh in what do you call it? Marvel Rivals, I would recommend doing something else with your life. So,
yeah, how's that going? Sounds like
it's
what was
fun.
it? Yeah, you enjoy it, but every time I kind of listen in, it seems like
I
you're
complain about it, yeah.
struggling. Yeah.
I complain, but it's at a weird state. Well, so like when I first started playing the game, it was everyone's new, everyone's fresh. So like it feels like everyone's at the same level. Like there's ebbs and flows in the game cycle of games, and so now that the game has been mature, it's getting mature. I'm starting to get encounter more people that are more sweaty and like really have no life to the game. So they understand the game in a better way than I do. So like at first it's like okay, everyone's at the same level, and now it's like I can't sit down for 10 hours a day and play this game. It feels like and it's a team-based game, right? So if your teammates are not very good, then you're going to lose the game no matter what your skill is. So, yeah, but it's fun. It is a lot of fun. I feel like if I had people to play with, yeah, I wouldn't be taking it as serious. Just because it would be more of a, hey, let's just sit down and play Marvel Rivals, not a care, and just have fun while we're doing it. So that's why I'm trying to get James to get a new computer to play the game with me. But
Well,
he's
keep
got
on praying to Saint
priorities.
Joseph to help me find a job, and if I can land something that actually pays well, that will not be a problem very quickly.
Ah, yes, good, very good.
So motivation there, selfish
What's
motivation.
my what's my motivation? Marvel Rival. That's your motivation. Not your
Mario,
family. Not your
Marvel,
family or tithing to your parish. It's Marvel Rivals.
or providing a house. Um,
That's all side story. Which Andrew's trying to find a house right now too. My neighbor is trying to sell his house, and I said, "Hey, you should go look at it." And they looked at it, and they did not like it. So
Fair
they're
enough.
realizing that Bismarck is more expensive than Aberdeen.
It's a lot more expensive than Aberdeen.
A lot more expensive.
Yeah. So
So what they're trying to get for a house and price wise, it's gonna be difficult. And every house that they're looking at is gonna be very expensive.
yeah.
But it is.
So
They'll find something.
maybe I could rope him out here.
No, no, stay away.
Andrew,
No,
if you're listening, Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
no,
Google it.
no, no, James. No, no. Bad James. Bad.
Alrighty. Well, anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Once again, if you did like this podcast, feel free to let us know. If you didn't like the podcast, let us know as well. You can always email us at catholicgamerspot@gmail.com. And of course, always feel free to leave a review, comment, share with everybody out there. That has been Connor.
Bye.
I am James. Thank you for listening, and God bless.
Bye. Have a great time. James, you can't say racist things like that. You can't do that. Can edit that out. Alright,
That's
that's all I
so
wanted to start
totally
it.
gonna get
I was thinking about that as I was giving Gus a bath. I was like, "How do I wanna start the podcast?" And I thought of that. I'm like, "Yep, that's the go-to right there." Oh, yes. Classic. Another pod in the books, baby.